do much wrong in the first few games of the season, but first choice keeper Artur Boruc is back for Celtic today. There's a rest up there, Gary Caldwell, after John Kennedy injured his ankle in training. Caldwell played alongside Stephen McManus at youth level for Scotland a few years ago, although they were both in midfield in those days. Charlie Richmond has had a successful summer, gaining a degree in electrical engineering. It's on days like this that title-winning foundations can be laid. A rainy day in Aberdeen, but it's not a venue that has held too much fear for Celtic, not in recent years anyway. Aberdeen will surely get their season going soon, and with trips to Hibs and Kilmarnock coming up, they could do with taking something off the champions today. Jamie Smith facing his former club. It's booted away by Gary Caldwell. Caldwell preferred to Presley in Kennedy's absence. Severin restored to a midfield role today. Here's Michael Hart. Severin again. They held off him, and we have seen in recent times that he's got a shot or two in him.
Yeah, Scott Severin in midfield. It's far better in there for me anyway, because he can do that. He gets up and around the box, he can influence things right from the centre of the Aberdeen side. But a sort of strange lineup, wasn't expecting that from Aberdeen today, with McNamara at left back and the two young guys in central defence. And what it does do is it allows Severin to go forward.
Scott Brown lost out to Severin, and now Jamie Smith. Severin again. Brewster, Clark trying to crash in. Nothing doing for Aberdeen, and Clark was quickly on his feet. And the fans made more of a go of it than Aberdeen did. It's a former Celtic left side for Aberdeen today, with Jackie McNamara and Jamie Smith.
You can see that Byron Nicholson just played the ball right in the box as quickly as possible. With having Brewster in there, he has that physical element to aim for now.
It's a free kick, won by Darren Mackey, in a cracking position for Aberdeen with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I think Scott Severin will fancy this one. Darren Mackey battling away as normal up front.
Big chance here for Aberdeen in the opening stages at Pittodrie. Severin can certainly hammer them. Jamie Smith might fancy placing it. It's been left in for Jamie Smith, and Artur Boruc tested on his return to action.
Well, it was a good effort. It just takes a little touch as well when it comes through, makes it that bit more difficult for Boruc. He knows a good shot stopper.
Smith takes the corner. It's 6 years since Aberdeen beat Celtic at home. The last two wins against them came at Celtic Park.
Chris Clark going down in the box a few minutes ago. There were some shouts for a penalty, but I don't think that was one.
Scott Brown. Nakamura trying to lift it over for Brown. Naylor. Hart's header. Here is Mackie. Brewster. Trying to slip Mackie in. Cleared though by McManus, and Mackie caught him late. Free kick.
Yeah, he did, but you can see a difference already for Aberdeen up front with Brewster holding the ball up. Something we didn't see last week against Hearts. A lot of pace in the side last week up front, but he didn't really see that either. I think today the ball will stick.
Lee Naylor with this throw. Scott McDonald makes himself available, but Xander Diamond quickly in on him. Naylor now for Vennegoor of Hesselink. McDonald. And Vennegoor of Hesselink! Just wide, but he does have a habit of scoring against Aberdeen.
He certainly does. Good link-up play between the two strikers. We saw that in midweek between McDonald and Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink. The understanding is growing. He just slips that one a foot or two past the post. It just seemed all too easy though, Ian, that for Celtic to find a way. Just 12 yards out.
Nicholson, ball action. Severin, he's got Hart away to the right, and he's going to pick him out. Hart's cross. Mark Wilson taking no chances with Jamie Smith behind him. It's another corner for Aberdeen. Jamie Smith's corner. Scott Severin at the far post, but it doesn't reach him. Now it does though, from Nicholson. Severin skips away from Vennegoor of Hesselink, and Aberdeen will get another corner.
I've got to say that Severin started the game very well. He's been all over the place, highly involved.
Barry Nicholson takes this one, away by Donati. McNamara. Caldwell's clearance, setting up Nakamura. Xander Diamond intercepted.
You can see that Aberdeen are playing a lot more open football than they were last week. I think that will actually suit Celtic, certainly in the counter-attack.
Hart, Mackie, Severin, he's got room to have a go. Nearly carried into Mackie's path, but Caldwell steered it away. Now Nakamura up against McNamara. Scott McDonald. This is his SPL debut for Celtic, suspended for the first two league games. Naylor. Not the best.
I'm quite impressed so far. I'm pretty sure Gordon Strachan will be with Scott McDonald in this match. It's only 8 minutes in, but already his movement is good. He just strikes me to be the kind of player that, with all due respect to Motherwell, that he can play with better players around him. He's going to progress. He's going to make that step up. He looks very confident.
Donati. Brewster charges in, and Brewster's down and hurt his wrist. Smith's cross, Mackie flung himself at it. It's cleared by Naylor. And Craig Brewster seems to have a problem.
This doesn't look good. Brewster's hardly moved at all. Now, he did hurt his shoulder last season, and whether he's just landed again awkwardly on that one. Looks like it.
Not good for Craig Brewster. Steve Lovell and Lee Miller are on the bench. Certainly an awkward fall for Brewster. And Steve Lovell and Lee Miller will be waiting if he can't continue.
Yeah, I think Brewster was a strong element of Jimmy Calderwood's game plan for this match. He won't want him going off too early.
McDonald, Nakamura, Benegor and Hesselink trying to link up with McGeady. Brewster tried to sneak back on them, but Charlie Richmond told him to wait because the ball wasn't too far away. Now he can come back on. Hart. Nicholson. Donati latching onto that. Easily cut out though by McNamara. Severin. Smith. Brewster is outside of him. McManus clears. Here's Michael Hart. McManus should deal with that. Gets it back from Nicholson. McNamara. Chris Clark now. Decides to use Jamie Smith. Smith's cross. Barry Nicholson's going to come in on that, and he gave it a go.
That's what Barry Nicholson will give you from a wide position in midfield. You see him coming in at the back post now, trying to get on the end of things. He did score last week. He can score goals from midfield, Nicholson. But I think so far it's a good start for Aberdeen, but it just seems to me that Celtic are sitting back a little bit now, whether that's the game plan. Sit back, soak it up and catch Aberdeen on the break. I don't know, but it could also be to do with the fact that Aberdeen are passing the ball quite well.
Nakamura for Brown. Donati for Naylor. McGeady. Lee Naylor's going long. McManus his target for a flick on. Hart and Nicholson both missed it. And Naylor going for a lob. Derek Suter is Aberdeen's first choice keeper this season after Jamie Langfield had a bit of a fallout with Jimmy Calderwood. Cut now, Craig Brewster, and he's certainly in the wars early on. I'm sure you feel it a bit more when you're 40.
I wouldn't know. See, it's just the the right elbow of Caldwell that comes across, but he had his eye on the ball, Caldwell.
It's going to have to be patched up. Craig Brewster.
Well, almost 15 minutes gone and Brewster spent about 2 minutes on the pitch. Just probably conserving some of that energy.
Jimmy Calderwood, you can tell from the expression what he thinks of it. He'll be eager to get Brewster back ASAP. Severin, Darren Mackie on his own up there at the moment. Has scored in the last 2 games against Celtic. Donati, Scott McDonald, Nakamura. Here is Venegor of Hesseling. Misplaced pass though, went astray, even though McGeady wasn't that far away. Smith. Just too much on it for Barry Nicholson. Massimo Donati. Caldwell sending it straight through to Suter. And offering an apology.
Yeah, Caldwell was trying to utilise that channel that Scott McDonald runs into all the time, down that right-hand side where the goal came from, crossing Russia.
Celtic have won 10 of their last 11 meetings with Aberdeen, including all 4 last season. Darren Mackie and Gary Caldwell will both be summoned to Charlie Richmond. We're ticking off.
It's 2 players that don't shirk tackles, but Mackie's very late. Darren Mackie was a little bit miffed about the Caldwell challenge on Brewster. Maybe that's where that came from.
Here is Caldwell, jeered by the Aberdeen fans, and he's given it away. Hart for Clark. Aberdeen still a man down with Brewster off getting treatment. Nakamura gets a free kick off Severin. Celtic not hanging around. Mark Wilson. Brewster's going to be back on any second. McGeady. Craig Brewster has returned. Scott Brown, oh, it hit his own man, Venegor Hesselink, and then Xander Diamond was able to scoop it away. Here's Brewster. Now Smith. Smith gets a free kick. Nakamura in his way. Craig Brewster has had a couple of stitches in that cut. McGeady. Donati. Nakamura. Wilson. Considine. McNamara for Smith. Manus up to Venegora Hesselink, flick on for Scott McDonald. Xander Diamond cut across, but Nakamura's going to pose a problem. It's going to drop for McGeady. Considine clears. Lee Naylor. Charged down by Mackie. Nicholson. Severin. McNamara. Chris Clark. Donati makes the challenge. Aberdeen get the throw. Clark. Severin. Scott Brown forcing him back. Xander Diamond, who looked the part last week. Trying ambitious from there.
No, it's not really his strong point. Certainly not from about 45 yards out anyway. But yeah, he did play well last week in central defence. Was mentioned earlier, 5 sending offs in his career at Aberdeen. It's far too many. Let's hope he settled in a little bit.
Well, by this time, the last time Celtic came to Pittodrie, they were 2-0 up. That's one way to silence the Pittodrie faithful. Goalless for now, this time around. Foul by Brown on Clark. Billy Connolly watching his beloved Celtic. Nice jacket. Brewster. Scott Brown's been caught by Severin. Painful.
Yes, a wrap on the back of the Achilles or the calf. It's a sore one, but it won't stop him.
Not much does stop him. Gary Caldwell then to take this free kick. Aimed towards the Venegora of Hesselink. And he's grappling with Xander Diamond. Seven of Aberdeen's 11 defeats in the SPL last season were against the Old Firm. It is difficult to live with the Glasgow Giants. Severin onto Mackie. Brewster unable to keep it going. McDonald. McGeady. Nakamura. Taken off his toes by Smith. Here is Nicholson. Now Brewster.
Yeah, Aberdeen have had decent possession, but they haven't managed to have any sort of cutting edge at all yet. You do feel that Celtic do have that in their side.
McGeady, he's lost it. His Hart, Nicholson, and Brewster! The oldest scorer in town, Craig Brewster, puts Aberdeen
Well, I just said it. They've had the possession. They haven't had a cutting edge, but Brewster came up with it. They lose possession, Celtic. It's a nice ball played down the line. Great ball cut back as well, but Brewster is unmarked really. Nicholson on the overlap. It goes through Mackey. You have to say, defensively, from a Celtic point of view, it's very poor.
Celtic complaining that they should have had a free kick when McGeady was challenged, and they might have had a case. But Craig Brewster has scored his first league goal for a couple of years, but should this have been a free kick?
Well, McGeady's on the ball. You have to say that Severin does come across him. I'm not sure exactly what he gets, if he gets anything on the ball, but Aberdeen are not complaining at the moment.
Brewster's only other goal for Aberdeen came in the Scottish Cup last season. Smith. Aberdeen buzzing. Severin. That should be cut out by McGeady. McDonald. McGeady for Scott Brown. Now Nakamura. Celtic after a quick reply. Nakamura in. McDonald should have scored.
Absolutely, he should have scored. Well, bang on Ian, because that's an easy header for him. And Aberdeen are just torn apart, and he sneaks in at the back post area. He gets in behind Michael Hart, and you're thinking, how could he miss? But he does.
16 goals for a struggling Motherwell side last season. Gordon Strachan was actually his manager once before at Southampton, but never really picked him much there.
That just sums up the problem for Aberdeen today. They are far more positive than they were last week, but it's creating its own problems as well.
Considine strong. Brewster the goal scorer. Chris Clark. Nakamura steps in, but it's gone out for an Aberdeen throw. Smith. Boritz will claim that. Nakamura, Venegor of Hesselin. Scott McDonald. Suter was guarding his near post. Well, Charlie Richmond didn't see anything wrong with the challenge that led to the goal, but the Celtic fans and Aidan McGeady certainly did.
It's a case of does he get anything on the ball, and you can see that Severin does. He gets the ball here. Stretch leg. And then from then on, Nicholson on the overlap. That's what you get with Smith and Nicholson in wide areas. That's what you get from a 40-year-old inside the 6-yard box. We tap him.
Looks like a fair call from Charlie Richmond. McDonald for Nakamura. Offside. Venegor of Hesselin. The leg up.
Well, the assistant referee was in the perfect position, you can see that. He has just strayed into an offside position. Jan Venegor of Hesselink.
Gordon Strachan joined Aberdeen as a player 30 years ago. Part of Alex Ferguson's stirring side that won a good few trophies and rocked the old firm.
Well, Celtic do look a little bit under the weather today. It's been a difficult week for them. Very hard match across in Russia, in Spartak Moscow in midweek. And it is difficult to come back and then get yourself back into the SPL, certainly when you're playing against an Aberdeen side who are desperate for points.
Wilson, Nakamura, Scott Brown, and offside again, and slipped away from Benegora Hesseling, and Suter will be allowed to get on with it, and the flag was up.
That's a big problem. Scott Brown, he escaped Clark and Severin there in midfield. That's what he does very well.
Donati, Brewster in on him, Mackie, and again, it's Darren Mackie, can he make it two? Boris in the way, and Celtic almost two down. Aberdeen cried handball then. Naylor. Donald and Considine going for it. And Considine marshals it out.
It was a great move from Darren Mackie. Good move from Aberdeen. Inside the box, they can't touch him, Celtic, but he twists and he turns. And that's the advantage of having Boric in goal, because that's a very big save for Celtic today. If they go two down at this stage, you see Aberdeen taking all 3 points, although you never say that Celtic are finished. At the moment, it's only one in it. It can still go either way.
Severin. Barry Nicholson chasing. Donati, a spot of juggling. Sander Diamond underneath that. From the Blue Square Premier tomorrow, 7:30 on Satanda Sports 1. It's Exeter against York. And next from the SPL, Kilmarnock Rangers, Saturday 11:30 on Satanda Sports 1. Rangers with 3 wins out of 3 and 5 points ahead of Celtic as a result. Michael Harder stayed down after that collision with McGeady. Celtic are carrying on. Here's Naylor. Now Hart can get some treatments.
It's one of those passes that's right in between. Hart comes in, he gets the ball. I think he just takes a sore one on the knee. It's an accidental collision. I think he'll be fine.
Aberdeen, a goal to the good against the champions. A goal scored by a 40-year-old.
Yeah, McGeady just loses possession here. Severin with a tackle. And that's the thing with Aberdeen at the moment. When they do win possession in those areas, they've got enough players up there to cause Celtic problems. That's been the big difference this week from last week.
Naylor, Suter will gather. Michael Harder's return. Nakamura's flick. Considine. Donati. Naylor. McGeady. Scott Brown. Scott McDonald. Tame. And well wide anyway. Frustrating.
Yeah, it was very good football from Celtic in midfield. I think Brian was looking for the return pass. He didn't get it, because McDonald obviously high on confidence after his midweek display. He went for it himself.
Paul Hartley scored his first Celtic goal in Moscow, but back on the bench today. Minutes to go to half-time. Considine. It goes down. Scott McDonald, but Charlie Richmond says no way.
Well, Constine's lucky. He's just got to defend, clear it, kick it anywhere, but you know that Scott McDonald is tenacious. He's going to keep going for that ball, and he gets away with it, Considine.
Well, he made a mistake on the opening day, Andy Considine, which cost Aberdeen the game at Dundee United.
There's a gamble. Two young central defenders.
Brewster needs a bit more patching up, but they might want him around for this free kick. And they will have him around. Severin then, aiming it for Brewster, but not quite.
That was a bit of a waste. Celtic really haven't managed to get going yet. Pretty sure that Calderwood will be happy with the way things have gone this first half.
Jimmy Calderwood has only managed one win against Celtic in 12 matches against them, lost 10 of those. Nicholson, just too high for Mackie, and Jamie Smith's not going to be able to rescue it, but it's been a positive first half for Aberdeen.
Again, there's no pressure on the ball here. Look, you see, he can just play the ball in, and that was a feature against Spartak Moscow. Players were able to, in wide areas, send the ball into the Celtic box quite freely.
Considine. McNamara. Caldwell underneath that. Severin. Wilson. Nakamura. Xander Diamond across Scott McDonald. Tidy. I don't think Jamie Smith was expecting that. Donati. McGeady. Severin firm as usual. Nicholson. Offside Mackie. Celtic showed incredible resilience last season to get themselves out of a few holes. Time and again they dug out results. They might have to do the same again here. Donati, Venegor of Hesseling. Scott Brown going to have to use Lee Naylor. Corner off Nicholson.
And that was more like it from Celtic. They worked it well, managing to get Naylor on the end of it for probably only the first or second time in this match, getting him forward. Of course, the big guys are coming forward as well. Caldwell, McManus and Jan Fedorov Hessling all in there.
Nakamura with Celtic's first corner. Hart's header is going to prove awkward for Suter, and it's another corner. Aberdeen think otherwise, but the assistant referee flagged for a corner. So from one side to the other trudges Nakamura to get the usual great reception from the Celtic fans in that corner. Nakamura, again it's into the danger zone, and this time it's a goal kick. Despite Scott McDonald's claim. Wakin alongside Andy Watson. Scotland play here in midweek against South Africa. Caldwell. Venagora Hesseling. Severin, a thorn in Celtic's side again. Celtic will be hoping for the sort of second half showing they managed at Falkirk.
Well, that's the worry for Aberdeen. We know that Celtic can do that at any point in the match.
Brewster, Boris is coming for it. A few heartbeats fluttered amongst the Celtic fans then. Venagora of Hesseling for Nakamura. Half-time approaching. Scott Brown. Scott McDonald. Donati. Wilson has got Nakamura ahead of him, as you can guess. Brown. Donati. Plenty of power, but no accuracy.
Yeah, it was patient football from Celtic. It falls to Donati to try and take it on a little bit. A lot of power there, but no accuracy. Celtic just creeping back into this one though in the last 10 minutes or so. Passing the ball a lot better so far. Defensively, Aberdeen have been good.
Mackie stretching. Naylor for Venagora of Hesseling, who scored a winner for Celtic here last season, and also got two against Aberdeen in Glasgow. Jackie McNamara has spent a decade at Celtic, 10 trophies in 10 years. Barry Nicholson. It's cut out by Caldwell, but it's going to go to the corner. Aberdeen in the half on a high. They could probably do with another goal, bearing in mind Celtic's powers of recovery. Nicholson's corner. Venagora of Hesseling useful in defence. McNamara's going to send it back to Barry Nicholson. Forrest though gathered well. The big target man up there in the shape of Venagora Hesseling, because he'd been doing defensive duty. Celtic have got a free kick, despite Severin's bemused look. Wilson. Nakamura. McDonald. Wilson. Considine was brave. McDonald's been penalised for a high boot.
Yeah, it was good defending from the youngster, who nearly didn't make it today. It's a stomach bug. Obviously really wanted to play though. Puts his head in there. I think Aberdeen's shape has been good in this first half. Severin has bossed things in midfield, and Celtic haven't been fluid yet, but you know that they can do that. It just take 5 minutes, as Falkirk found out last week.
Severin. Well, there's going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time, and it's all Craig Brewster's and Michael Hart's fault. Those two needed lengthy treatment. Caldwell. He's done a few of those.
Yeah, he's a central defender that likes to play football, but some of his passing today has not been great.
Severin. Clark. McNamara for Smith. Considine. Onto the head of Wilson. Donati. Scott McDonald. On by Brewster. Away by McManus. And now Wilson. Still time for Celtic to respond ahead of half-time. Or is there? Brewster for Mackie. Celtic a little short. Darren Mackie! Oh, Boris has let it go! Did it go over? No, says Boris, and he reacts to the Aberdeen fans as well.
I'll tell you what, he tried to make that look really cool, didn't he? I don't think he was feeling that way though. It was almost in. It was almost a glaring error.
McNamara. Clark. Just too much on it for McNamara.
Well, it comes from Mackie, so a good first half. He lets fly with his left foot. You can see it's definitely not in. It nearly was though. But that's been a feature of this first half. The ball hasn't stuck as much as it should up front for Celtic, and Aberdeen have been very close to them. They've been dogged in their tackles, and then they've been breaking very quickly.
Couldn't resist a dig at the crowd, could he, Artur Boruc? Typically. Here's Wilson. McDonald. Wilson. For the gore of Hesseling. Challenging Xander Diamond. And a push by Jamie Smith. And a free kick to Celtic right on the stroke of half-time. Guess who's coming across to take it?
Well, it was a silly one to give away. Certainly at this stage, you don't want to give Celtic any encouragement, because they'll take it.
Needless, really, from Smith. Not what you want to do right at the end of the half when you're up against Nakamura. He does go for goal after all. It's over and out, and that is the last action of the first half. And the champions are trailing. Craig Brewster has been in the wars. He's needed lengthy treatment in the first half, but then he dished out some treatment of his own by poking Aberdeen in front. Aidan McGeady cried foul in the build-up. He lost the ball here. Severin's tackle. And from then on in, Celtic were in bother, big bother. 40-year-old Craig Brewster giving the Dons the lead. Celtic, though, floored Falkirk in the second half last week. They'll be looking to do the same again here Half-time at Pittodrie, it is Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
Don't take your eye off the ball. Clydesdale Bank, always on the ball.
A double helping of golf from us. Tonight's the Wyndham Championship. Final day from 6. Setanta Sports 1 and Setanta Golf. Jeff Overton at 18 under par has a 3-shot lead going into the final round in North Carolina. And there's Champions Tour Golf from Oregon. Mark McNulty and David Edwards leading, but Tom Watson and Tom Kite, 2 big names, just 3 behind. Celtic trail at Pittodrie by a 1-0 at half-time. 40-year-old Craig Brewster has picked up a couple of knocks in the course of that first half, but Aberdeen very thankful he's still on the pitch because he scored the only goal and he's had a pretty big impact up front alongside Darren Mackie as well. What sort of response will we get from the defending champions? Let's find out with Scott Booth and Ian Crocker.
Cheers, Rob. Well, last week they flattened Falkirk in the second half, and this week they'll be looking for a similar performance in the second 45. That goal, by the way, was the first one that Aberdeen have scored in the first half against Celtic here at Pittodrie in 7 years, which gives you an idea of the problems they've encountered coming up against Celtic. Celtic then, a goal down, start the second half, more than capable of turning this one around. They've turned a few games around in their time.
Yeah, and Aberdeen also know from their opening day defeat against Dundee United that just one lapse of concentration and that would let Celtic back in.
Mackie. Severin, McGeady quickly in. Naylor launching it, Sander Diamond fancies it. Lee Naylor will take this throw. McDonald available. McGeady's gone inside a bit. Nakamura. Wilson. Scott Brown will be the next port of call. Wilson. McDonald could set up McGeady. And that hurt. Sander Diamond, I think it was, in the way. And Charlie Richmond stopped play.
Well, that did look very painful, as you can see. It's McGeady who strikes it here. And what's happened there, you can see, it's just caught the top edge of Sander Diamond's foot, and that's twisted his knee, I think. It just opened up his knee a little bit. I know all about that one. I think that's the medial ligament. I had a few of those myself. I had a few of everything, but that's painful.
He's resisting the stretcher. 2 Jimmies, Calderwood and Nicol at the Aberdeen helm. Agony for Diamond, but I'm sure he will return sharpish.
Well, he has been an important player for them in the first half. Both Diamond and Constein played well against McDonald and Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink.
Celtic fans not happy that Charlie Richmond stopped the game. Diamond's back on. Considine's won that. Clark. McNamara. Gordon Strachan won 2 titles as an Aberdeen player. Now he's won 2 titles as Celtic manager. Celtic must be a little weary after their midweek expedition to Moscow. And a diamond for Michael Hart. Nicholson. Donati. Foul. Xander Diamond on Scott McDonald. Across the back four it goes. Brewster. Smith. Barry Nicholson. Here's Hart. That's a foul by McManus on Mackie. Useful free kick for Aberdeen.
Good patient football from Aberdeen, but didn't see too much wrong with that. Certainly a great area now to have a go. Barry Nicholson, Severin, Brewster can all do it from there.
Potentially a key moment in the match, and it's going to be Brewster. Charlie Richmond wasn't ready for it, he hadn't blown his whistle. So Aberdeen will have to take it again.
That wasn't a bad warm-up for Brewster, that one.
Might be a change of idea now. Brewster is indeed going to leave it. Got Severin there now. Change of plan, Severin for Mackie. Maybe it was worth a shot after all. Chris Clark. Jackie McNamara finds another former Celtic player, Jamie Smith. Scott McDonald had a nibble at him. Hart. McManus in on Mackie. Hart.
Well, you can certainly see that Celtic do need to change things. They look jaded. It's not the same sort of energy from them as we normally see.
Is onside. Darren Mackie! Not far away from scoring against Celtic in his third match running.
Well, he's played well. He's certainly not offside. When he gets in those positions, he likes to have a crack at it. See, Boris has got his front post covered though. But at times it's been a very simple ball over the top for Aberdeen, and it's caused the Celtic defence a lot of problems.
Wilson having to work for that. Aberdeen with testing trips ahead to Hibs and Kilmarnock. What a lift it would give them if they were to take 3 points off Celtic. Long way to go yet though. It always seems an even longer way to go when you're playing Celtic. Who know how to score a few late goals. McGeady, Graham it again. Chris Clark. And Barry Nicholson. Lunging in on Lee Naylor. Nicholson wants of Rangers. The Celtic fans not taking too kindly to that challenge, but Naylor didn't make anything of it.
You can see that McGeady hasn't had much change out of Michael Hart on the left side. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to come off at some stage.
Nakamura. McDonald. Naylor outside of him. McDonald has other ideas, but it's going to sail over the head of Jan Vennegoor and Hesseling. There's still nothing doing for the champs. Celtic 5 points behind Rangers at the moment, and they will want to close that gap here, but here comes Jackie McNamara. Free kick for Aberdeen. Wilson protests.
Well, again, it's really positive play from Aberdeen in wide areas. This time McNamara.
Sander Diamond scored his last goal against Celtic a couple of years ago. Smith fools everyone by finding Clark. Nicholson. The flag stays down. It's Sander Diamond. Mackie. Chris Clark is going to need some treatment. Gordon Strachan still moaning about when Charlie Richmond stopped the game when Sander Diamond was hurt by the ball earlier. John Underhill's getting it in the air.
Well, Chris Clark had the perfect opportunity to let fly, but his touch wasn't good enough. He got himself into problems. He took a knock for it. He just missed his first touch, but it's Donati, I think, that comes across him.
Clark hobbling off. Gordon Strachan will surely be planning changes very soon.
Well, he has to, because Nakamura and McGeady have not been involved at all, and that's a sign he's actually switching them over. Nakamura's coming over to the left side and McGeady going right, but they've not been involved in this game. And you know, if they are involved, Celtic are playing well, and if they're not, there's something going wrong.
Naylor. Chris Clark hasn't returned yet. Nakamura. It is a handball. I think Charlie Richmond was planning to play the advantage, but he's pulled it back, and it's a free kick in Nakamura territory.
This is exactly why you don't want to take a player like Nakamura off. It only takes one free kick and you're back in the game.
Well, he scored one at Falkirk last week. Can he repeat the feat? "11 of his 18 Celtic goals have come from free kicks. It's the man from Japan, and it's nearly another fabulous free kick from Shunsuke Nakamura. It doesn't get much closer than that. Here is McGeady, and he's lost it. And Donati will get a yellow card for a crude kick at Barry Nicholson.
Well, we all know exactly where it's going, and Cedar does as well, but he just can't get there. It's too good. Very unlucky. Again, accuracy, pace. Takes it away from the goalkeeper. How unlucky that doesn't cross the line.
So very close to another trademark free kick. Nakamura. Donati gets the first yellow card of the game. McDonald. Got Severin in agony. We've had a fair few injuries in this game. Not helping the flow.
No, and this time it's Severin. As he slides in, you can see McGeady just catches him on his knee with the studs. That'll be sore.
Naylor's free kick, aimed towards Vinegar of Hesseling, who ended up on the floor. McNamara. Popped back by McManus. Smith. Diamond. Scott McDonald asking questions. And McDonald nearly setting up Nakamura, and Xander Diamond will be rather relieved that Aberdeen got away with that. An hour played. Craig Brewster with the first half goal. Paul Hartley's going to be on for Celtic imminently. Donati. McDonald. McNamara up to Brewster. Scott Brown now. McDonald for McGeady. And Massimo Donati! A touch of class from Donati. And that will mean so much to him. Celtic are level as they show their powers of recovery again.
Well, that was more than just a touch of class. It's McGeady that opens things up, but Donati, for the first time in this match, gets himself into the box. It's a lovely little ball, but where's the marking? He twists inside, Xander Diamond goes down, and the finish is very, very cool. At this point, he's not going to go on his left foot, so he drags it inside. Suitor, no chance. It's just lovely football all round. He's enjoying himself now.
Well, it was always going to take him a little while to settle into the Scottish game, but that will certainly help Massimo Donati. And I wonder if Celtic will put that substitution on hold now, and I wonder who they're going to take off.
Well, certainly food for thought, but it was the one time that Donati gets himself in the box, causes a problem. You have to say that someone from the Aberdeen midfield let him go. No one was marking him.
Paul Hartley's arrival has been put on hold. That's bounced off Chris Clark. It will be a goal kick. This is Celtic's first shot on target in the game. It's a goal for Massimo Donati.
That's what they do. They are clinical. You know it's never over when you're playing against Celtic. You have to keep concentration. Aberdeen didn't do that. You have to say as well that Celtic have, in this second half, played the better football.
Vinegar Hesseling could put Nakamura in. Nakamura, unusually for him, off target. But Celtic now fancy winning this game.
Yeah, they've gone up a gear. Nakamura can go either side. He comes inside. Plenty of power, but he can't get it down. The wee step over.
Celtic fans singing the name of Donati. And looking really busy now, Celtic. McGeady not far
Well, McGeady's getting himself involved, and that's the thing that's different. He's coming inside, he's getting on the ball, and he is creating problems now. That's good play from the youngster, because he's been on the periphery of this match in wide areas, but he's coming inside, trying to get himself into the game, and it's having an effect.
The Celtic fans making a right big noise now on what's been a largely edgy afternoon for them. All of a sudden Celtic are looking like champions. McGeady has lost it again in the same position he lost it for the Aberdeen goal. Mark Wilson tracking Smith though. Aberdeen are going to bring on Lee Miller soon. And the tempo has certainly gone up a notch or two or three. Nakamura's got room here. It's ominous for Aberdeen, this. Nakamura!
Well, Aberdeen have just gone ragged. They really have, but Celtic have gone up a gear. They're getting on the ball far too easily in midfield. You cannot allow Nakamura that kind of room.
Brewster is going to make way for Lee Miller, who scored a few goals pre-season, but in competitive matches he's only got one since last November. Next break of play, Miller will be on for this man, Brewster. Jamie Smith. Aberdeen hoping to weather a Celtic storm after that equalizer. Probably due a goal, Lee Miller. Craig Brewster did score today, but at the grand old age of 40, not likely to see it through 90 minutes these days. He's made an important contribution for Aberdeen though.
Yep, great contribution, putting the ball in the back of the net. He's led the line well, just tired slightly, but he definitely didn't want to come off, that's for sure.
Severin's long throw, Lee Miller, the target, just on. Severin again. Clark. Jamie Smith, it's a little bit crowded. Donati. Scott Brown. McGeady. There is a vigour about Celtic now. McDonald, Nakamura rode that challenge. Hanging in there. Nakamura, Donati, Harry Nicholson, tigerish. Celtic no longer weary, rejuvenated by Massimo Donati's equaliser. He wouldn't put 3 points past them now. Strachan relieved. He's just got through his first 100 games in charge of Celtic. Jamie Smith has gone off, and Ricky Foster has come on to add some zip down that side. Scott Brown mugged. Chris Clark. Foster racing onto that, and he's got a free kick. And there's going to be a yellow card coming the way of Wilson.
Well, Foster did that all last season. Got real pace down that left-hand side.
Wilson joins Donati in the book. Diamond and Considine, loitering with intent. And what Aberdeen would give to go back in front. Barry Nicholson sends it in. Lee Miller heads it on, but it's a safe catch from Boritz. Layla now for Donati. Offside. Benegora Hesselink. Tomorrow we're in the Blue Square premiere for Exeter City against York City from 7:30 on Setanta Sports 1. Next up from the SPL, it is Kilmarnock against Rangers, and you can see that on Saturday from 11:30 on Setanta Sports 1. Both those teams making good starts to the season. "20 minutes to go. Celtic looking to gain control. Donati. Benegora Hesselink. Goes through, goes down, no penalty. No complaint really from Benegora Hesselink, apart from the fact that he had a little pop at his teammates. Scott Brown, Mark Wilson, McGeady, that's loose from Scott Brown. Boritz in bother. Didn't want it. And he's letting McManus know about it. Hart centre, McManus for Donati. Considine in front of McDonald. Free kick's been given for a push by Scott McDonald. Foster up against McGeady. McNamara. Donati helping out his defence. Benegora of Hesselink for McDonald. McNamara failed to hold him up. Scott Brown bursting through the middle. No surprise there. McGeady. Benegora of Hesselink. Nakamura will tee up Naylor. Benegora of Hesselink's flick. McGeady nearly coming in on that, but Jackie McNamara stood firm and was hurt. And he's still down. I think they're going to have to kick the ball out, although having said that, he's just got back up now. Aberdeen can continue with several. Foster. McGeady. Severin with a foul.
Yeah, Aberdeen just can't create anything at the moment. Celtic are beginning to look even more dangerous as the game goes on.
John Underhill might be hearing Gordon Strachan's voice in his sleep tonight at this rate. Nakamura delivers. Not one of his better efforts. Naylor. Considine's clearance went only to Donati, but he gets a second chance to feed Mackie. Nicholson. Hart waiting to receive. Foster in first time. Vinegar of Hesseling for Donati. Scott Brown. McGeady. McGeady. Wilson. And Suter pulled into action.
Yeah, it was a good run from Wilson. He gets in behind, he just stops it. He's going for that near post area.
Nakamura waiting to take this corner. It's a good one from Nakamura. Manis and Donati at the near post. Celtic are going to bring on Kenny Miller. Scott McDonald goes off. Made his SPL debut today after starting in Moscow midweek. On comes Kenny Miller.
Yeah, you can see Scott McDonald was not happy. Not so much at getting taken off, I think it's that miss in the first half he's thinking about.
Kenny Miller on, he played well at Falkirk last week and scored. And then was dropped to the bench in Moscow. Will certainly pose a threat to Aberdeen. Foster though, stopped in his tracks by Caldwell. Benagora Hesseling has been caught by Xander Diamond, who's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, Diamond's played well, but he doesn't have to dive in situations like that. You can see he's not going to win that one.
Been sent off 5 times already in his Aberdeen career. Xander Diamond, only 22. Given away by Naylor, but Donati now for Miller. Handball. Aberdeen lost 4 times to Celtic last season, although by a single goal margin every time. Foster. McNamara. Foster again. Foster's cross. Oh, Darren Mackie did not connect.
That was great play between McNamara and Foster on the left-hand side. It's a fantastic ball in as well. Darren Mackie, well, should do better.
Mackie currently on 49 goals for Aberdeen.
He knows that was a chance. Just 12 minutes to go.
Miller. Donati has switched that to Naylor. Kenny Miller. Xander Diamond's got the ball. And he's taken a sore one. Not getting too much sympathy from the Celtic fans after that incident earlier when he was hit by the ball and the game was stopped. Well, Sander Diamond's down, but Celtic are carrying on. Not very sporting.
No, I think he thought he could get away with it and continue, but went back down again. It's just here that he gets caught. I'm not really sure what happened there, maybe just twists his ankle slightly.
Well, Aberdeen do have Karim Touzani on the bench, who had an injury hit first season at Aberdeen, didn't make many appearances last season. Diamond clearly struggling. Touzani came through the Ajax Youth Academy. Not a bad place to learn your trade. It looks like game over for Sander Diamond, and that's a bitter blow because he's looked a bit like his old self these past couple of games.
And certainly when you look at the fact that Lee Mayer will be out for 4 or 5 weeks. A little bit thin on the ground. Jimmy Caldwell is now centre back.
Touzani is going to take the place of Sander Diamond, who is in considerable agony. Aberdeen, of course, lost their captain, Russell Anderson, to Sunderland. Scott Severin has been playing in the heart of defence until today. Naylor's long throw. Vennegoor of Hesseling turning, and Touzani's first contribution is to clear that. Hooked on by Mackie. Michael Hart chasing. And still chasing. McNamara. Lee Miller. Away by McManus. McGeady. Severin in the way, but that's a stray one. And Vennegoor Hesseling has got options here, including Nakamura. And Nakamura taken out by Hart, right on the edge of the area, and it's going to be a yellow card.
Well, it's just as well that Michael Hart was there from an Aberdeen point of view, because Nakamura was in. He does take him down. Michael Hart has been following Nakamura around for the majority of this second half, almost doing a man-marking job on him.
Well, you don't really want to give a free kick away against Celtic with Nakamura around, but Hart obviously felt he had a little option there. He's picked up a yellow card. Will Nakamura or McGeady double the punishment? McGeady looks like he fancies it. McGeady does.
Well, it does sort of heap the pressure on you when you take a free kick away from Nakamura. It has to be good.
Considine and Vennegoor of Hesseling will go for that. Lee Naylor. Vennegoor of Hesseling. Wilson. Scott Brown. Wilson tries again. Venigora Hesselink nearly. And Nakamura. And Donati again. Miller! Kenny Miller comes off the bench to put Celtic in front. They've turned it around yet again. How many times do they do this? That's why they're the champions. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Well, they do it because they've got quality in the side, that's why. And you can call on someone like Kenny Miller from the bench. Nakamura opens the whole thing up here. Donati gets his head up as well. He feeds Miller, he's not going to miss from there. You can just see Donati, it's important this. Nice little side foot pass. And he just lays it on a plate for Kenny Miller. Great play initially from Nakamura. And after scoring last week, he's not going to miss this week.
Well, Kenny Miller only scored 4 SPL goals last season, but he's already halfway to that tally this season. And the Celtics scored 3 in 5 minutes at Falkirk.
But Mark Wilson's been important for Celtic. Down that right-hand side. Swinging balls in, making it very difficult for the defence.
Something going on there behind Gordon Strachan's dugout. And Strachan is fuming. Strachan raging. And he's explaining what's happened to the officials now. Never happy, the wee man.
Well, there's been his fair share of talking throughout this whole match. But what he did do is, he made the substitutions, and Kenny Miller proved he's a top-class finisher.
I think he's been ordered away from the dugout here, Gordon Strachan. And there's certainly a bit of aggro going on with some of those fans. And Gordon Strachan is leading the scene. Strachan sent from the dugout. I wonder what they have to say about that afterwards. Could be interesting. Nobby Police and the 4th official, John Underhill, still there. Gordon Strachan still moaning. And something has obviously gone on that he took extreme dislike to. Well, for Celtic, it's rather spoiled the fact that yet again they've shown their remarkable resilience by coming from behind to take the lead. Aberdeen will be feeling sick at this scoreline. Looks like it'll be just 1 point from the first 9 for them. And they've now got to go to Hibs and Kilmarnock. 2 tough away games. Here's McGeady. Kenny Miller's got a free kick. Considine the offender.
Well, there's a lot of talk about the partner for Jan Vennegroff Hesselink, and I suppose that'll mean even more talk. Kenny Miller looks to be back in pole position.
Couple of minutes to go. 1-0 down, 2-1 up. That's Celtic. Can Aberdeen save the day? McManus in no mood to budge. Celtic overcame Falkirk in the second half last week. And another spirited showing in the second half this week has made a big difference in this game. Kenny Miller, who scored to put them ahead at Falkirk, has also put them ahead at Aberdeen. going to be a yellow card coming here, I think, for McGeady. Last minute of the 90. Offside. We hear that the word from the touchline is that someone in the crowd was shouting abuse in Gordon Strachan's direction. He took great exception to it and got a bit involved.
I thought he'd have been used to that by now. I think Celtic have come out in the second half and have played very well. It's an open match. It's encouraging for Aberdeen as well, but we just know Celtic have the power and the quality.
It's going to be 5 minutes added on, so still time for Aberdeen, but Celtic don't usually let things slip. They're in this situation, and they've been in this situation a few times. Mackie. Hart. Foster. Nearly fell, Wilson. Considine. Foster. Moritz with a good punch. Michael Hart stops Kenny Miller escaping. Oh, Tuzani's let that go. It's Kenny Miller again! Breathtaking goal! Kenny Miller scores yet again, and what a significant contribution he is making for Celtic early season.
Well, it's all about confidence. As soon as he gets on this ball here, he's got one thing in his mind. He's going to bend it around in that back post area. Suter should do better, but it's a great finish. It's always going away from him. It's got enough power, but it's got the real accuracy as well. 3 goals in a week. Who said he can't finish?
And 3 very tidy finishes indeed from Kenny Miller. Goals in 2 games in the SPL for Kenny Miller. Here's Clark, and Naylor can clear. And once again, Celtic have relied on a strong second half showing to turn things in their favour in the SPL. Donati sparked the revival. Miller is on a hat-trick. Two goals in 7 minutes for Kenny Miller. Super sub.
Well, Aberdeen gave it a go, but in the end there was too much class on the field, in the hoops. In their second half performance, they have deserved this victory.
Quarterwood, a discussion with Sandy Clark. 1 point in 9 for Aberdeen to start with. Not what they planned.
No, when you've got away games to come, Hibs and Kilmarnock, Wondering where the points are going to come from. But Celtic don't care.
Gordon Strachan sent off. But that's going to be the only blemish from the afternoon. Celtic's fans didn't have an awful lot to shout about for a while, but they have plenty to shout about now. The first goal for Donati and Kenny Miller finding his range and growing in confidence. The 5 minutes of stoppage time are almost up. Miller, Foster, great tackle that from Scott Brown. It's all over. Celtic yet again turned a game around. Kenny Miller came off the bench to score twice, and Massimo Donati, who hasn't had the best of starts to his Celtic career, although you have to give him a bit of time to settle. Well, he scored the first goal, and then Miller took over. And Celtic running out 3-1 winners, having toiled in the first half, a little weary perhaps after their Moscow mission. But just like at Falkirk last week, it all changed in Celtic's favour. Craig Brewster put Aberdeen in front. A touch of Italian class levelled it from Massimo Donati. And then Kenny Miller came off the bench, and Miller took centre stage. Donati set him up after Nakamura was involved too. And how about this for a fabulous finish from a man who's flying at the moment. A feeling of deja vu, really. We've seen this movie before. Celtic behind, but back they came to win in the end. It finishes at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 3.
Yes, it's the stuff of champions, and they've followed their Falkirk fight back with another impressive comeback here at Pittodrie. 3-1 Celtic, after-match reaction on the way.
Timo, how difficult a match was that for Celtic today?
Yes, a very difficult game, but we are a little tired for the match in Moscow, and but in the second half we play very well, and free goal, Miller very good, and good win. Okay.
You scored your first goal today for Celtic. You must be pleased with your performance.
Yes, first half no play good, no happy, but second half when I see Paul Harley entry, me change, I see, and goal no change, and but I'm happy for the win, better my goal. Okay.
You came from playing in Serie A with Milan last season. How is the style in Scotland different to what you're used to in Italy?
Is some different. Here is very nice, the public because it's near the pitch, and very contact players, and fun, and it's very fantastic. And in football is different because in Italy is more possession ball, and here is always running, very running, and but I'm like very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe a faster type of football than you're used to in Italy, but you enjoy it? The Celtic style of football suits you?
Yes, I enjoy, but I'm not condition very good now, but next games better, and but the club is fantastic, the fans, Celtic fans is fantastic. Only the weather not good, but I'm very happy.
Massimo, you are the Clydesdale Bank man of the match. Well played today.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
What's wrong with the weather? It's always a motivation, isn't it, when a player looks across and sees himself about to be replaced. Paul Hartley was about to enter the fray, and it might well have been Donati who was going off, but he responded immediately with equaliser. And well, we know what happened from there. Celtic 3-1 winners. With me in the studio, Craig Burley, and the Scotland manager.
Pleased with the performance, if not the result?
Pleased with first half performance, Stuart. I thought we dominated a very good team. You know, I don't know how Gordon thought, but they looked a little bit lethargic, but I think that was down to Aberdeen. You know, we were defending going forward, we were picking up balls and we kept trying to attack them, and it was working very well. Deserved to win 1-0 ahead, I think, and we're trying to keep it tight, and we did. And then, you know, the last 15 minutes we were getting people falling over everywhere, injuries and all that kind of thing, and the quality told in the end. Very disappointing from our point of view, you know, that we couldn't keep that level of performance up that we had first half, you know. But even when they got back and 1-1, Darren's had a great chance with a header, and I think if that one went in, it lifted the crowd again. But there was a lot of good things there, you know, and obviously we had to open up in the end, and they got the third goal, but there were individual mistakes. You know, you can't dominate Celtic or Rangers for 90 minutes, but I think we did for 45 minutes the first half, but it's not enough.
Because you came out today and you said before the match you wanted to win the game, did that maybe cause you to go a little bit ragged at the start of the second half?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think Gordon would be too happy, and Tommy and Gary at half time, and we won the lads. You know, there's an awful lot of quality there, and they would have to lift the game to win it. And they did, but we didn't help ourselves too much. We were defending and we were passing. It was nowhere as crisp as it was first half.
And it was noticeable you put Michael Hart on looked like a man-to-man role against Nakamura with about half an hour to go.
Yeah, he was causing us a big problem with his movement, as we all know. I think any manager in Scotland will tell you that. He was causing us big problems. But, you know, their distances were a lot shorter and tighter first half, and we seemed to... certain individuals get wee knocks, and they just couldn't get as short as they could first half. I think we won virtually every 50-50 first half, and we were in second balls and we were in the ascendancy. And second half we just couldn't keep that going.
You had some fine individual performances, the likes of Craig Brewster, Scott Severin, McNamara.
Yeah, certainly. All the older ones. Yeah, I think the young lads at the back, to be honest, until the last 15 minutes, you know, young Andy Considine and Big Sander have done really well. And to be honest, I couldn't ask any more from them first half, or probably for 60-70 minutes, but we've given the game away. You've got to concentrate for 95 minutes against good teams, and I don't think we've done that.
Where'd you go from here?
I think we're going to Edinburgh next week.
Tough match. I mean, you said that the fixture list was very difficult for you.
Yeah, but there was a lot of good things, Stuart. You know, the two defeats before that, there wasn't too many good things. There was a lot of good things for 60-70 minutes today. We're supposed to be disappointed, but all credit to Gordon's team. They fought back. That's why they've been champions for the last couple of years. There's a lot of quality there, but we've dominated a good team for definitely 45 and maybe longer.
Thanks for your time, Jimmy.
Cheers.
Aberdeen 1, Celtic 3, and Miller struck twice as a super sub to turn around the game at Pittodrie. 1-0 down, Celtic 1-3-1. More after-match reaction on the way. Match will centre on Gordon Strachan and the fact he was sent to the stand towards the end of the match after Celtic had got themselves ahead. Now watch for it looks like an Aberdeen official wearing a club jacket who comes down the stairway towards the Celtic technical area, wagging his finger, saying something to Gordon Strachan, which the Celtic manager took exception to clearly. The police were involved, and eventually Gordon Strachan was sent packing for his reaction. He is Aberdeen Football Club's stand representative. He's the man in charge in the main stand for Aberdeen. And if anyone has a complaint among the supporters about anything happening in front of them, then he is the person who is designated to take action. So he's spoken to Gordon Strachan, so has John Underhill, so has Charlie Richmond, and the end of all that was Gordon Strachan trudging down the touchline and not looking too chuffed about it whatsoever. What did you make of that, Alec?
Well, I don't want to speculate on it too much, but last week Gordon celebrated when Celtic scored against Falkirk, and I think one of the stewards had cautioned him for that, and he says, you're not allowed to celebrate now because some fans, it upset some fans. So I don't know what happened. It depends in which way you celebrate, I suppose.
So it may well just be that club official was directing complaints against Strachan from other supporters sitting in the stand.
He's got a photo ID, so he's position of power there. It's the whole thing about getting involved. You know, for celebrating a goal. Fans don't like when you celebrate a goal. I mean, fans pay their money, and believe me, you know, being in benches and touchlines, and the language that gets directed towards the players and managers and coaches is just vile at times now.
And yet they're expected just to turn away at that point, aren't they? They're not expected to respond. Players and officials.
No,
and
and
managers.
I don't know what Gordon Strachan, I don't know what he's done, but I've no doubt he celebrated the goal because it was a very important one. Somebody's taken umbrage to that, complained to somebody, this fella here in the stand, and then the whole thing just boils over into sending Gordon Strachan off. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand it sometimes.
Is that possibly an outpouring of bitterness from the Aberdeen fans, Alec? Because Gordon was a big hero here, as you know so well, and now he's a figure of hate, I suppose, in some respects, because generally he comes up here and Celtic beat Aberdeen.
Well, we don't know what happened, Rob, so I don't want to point the finger at anybody, but Craig's right. You're in the dugout, you can get all sorts of pelters from the fans behind. You just got to keep your focus on that pitch. You turn around and get involved in it, it's a game you can't win.
Gordon Strachan, of course, at the moment is talking about fans phone-ins as well, and the sort of bile sometimes that's turned around through those avenues.
I just think at this country at the moment, we get upset over absolutely nothing. Honestly, you pay your money, you take it on the chin, both ways, supporters, players, managers. There's going to be a bit of banter, a little bit of back chat here and there. It's very hard not to say anything at times, but it happens. Everybody gets involved. It's part and parcel. I mean, we just go over the top about everything. Obviously we've got the problem with the singing at times, and people complaining about that, and I try to stamp out. Now we've got problems with people celebrating goals, and that's going over the top. They don't like that either. Has
football become too politically correct?
Yeah, I mean, you can't take your top off, you can't go off the pitch, which is, I think, the worst one. The player leaves the field for scoring a goal, and then that's a booking. You can't, sometimes your emotions take over, and you want to go and celebrate. And there's no doubt, I think it was Kenny Miller's first goal, and that was a huge goal for Celtic, and he's probably ran off down the touchline and celebrated it. Somebody didn't like it, and they've complained about it, and then it's been a bit of a tit for tat, and he finds himself in the stand, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it tomorrow.
Gordon Strachan would be a strange human being, Alec, wouldn't he, if he didn't react to such a big goal in a big way?
Absolutely. He's entitled to feel that after the first half Celtic had, and how important this game was. They would have fell 5 points behind Rangers had they lost. So it was a massive game for him today, and he's shown his emotions. He's an emotional wee guy. I've known him for a number of years, and I think everybody in Scotland knows what he's like, knows the type of character he is.
Let's talk about the game, Gordon Strachan will have some explaining to do, I'm sure, further down the line, but let's look at some of the key moments from the match. And Aberdeen started very well, and Jimmy Smith had a free kick in the heat of the moment. So it's Tommy Burns we'll hear from now.
Tommy, I guess that's an indication of the strength of character of the players at Celtic.
Well, I think so. I think it's been a difficult week for the lads, but they've come up with top quality performances and had to show a lot of guts today, because I think the first half looked a bit heavy-legged. Aberdeen were very sharp and bright, and they got a goal of a start, which makes it even more difficult. So I think great credit's due to the players. I think it's been a fantastic shift here.
Just like last week, did you feel it was coming as the game wore on?
Well, I think with the players we've got there, I think we always feel there's an opportunity in the game to get goals. But I think that they got a lot more composure into their game second half. Just steadied themselves up, get good switches of play, and good combinations running about the box. And I think these players have got fantastic imagination. I think you've seen that with Donati's goal and also with Kenny Miller's goal. So they're a young team, a young group. Average age I think is only about 23, 24. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, you mentioned the average age. I mean, the squad seems to have a younger look about it. Is that just coincidence, or is it a deliberate ploy on the part of the manager?
No, I think it's very much the part of the manager's philosophy. I mean, I think he's looked at the team when he first came in. He's had to change that quite dramatically. Then the next year it had to change again, and this year it's changed again. But it's a question of looking at positions and areas in the field and trying to put energy in there. And I think we're slowly but surely doing that right throughout the team.
How pleased were you today with the contribution of Donati with his goal, and of course the set-up for Kenny Miller's second goal?
Yeah, very pleased for him, because I think that like everybody else, I think when you come to a new club it takes time to find your feet. Unfortunately with Old Firm there's so much hype around new players, and there's a speculation around new players. So I think the important thing for him is just to come and settle in and have some good games. I think he's been taken off in a couple of games because I think he's tired a wee bit towards the end. But today will go a long way to convincing the fans that he's certainly a fantastic footballer, and it'll do his confidence the world of good.
A few weeks ago, people were suggesting that Kenny Miller may have to leave Celtic to find first-team football, but 2 more goals from him again. He's obviously high up in the pecking order of the strikers at the club.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely delighted for him because I don't think there's anybody at the club worked harder than Kenny. He comes through a really difficult first year, but he still, kept his head above the water, doing well at international level. And I think, like everything else, when you come to a new club, you've got to be given time to come into that. And the demands at the Old Firm are quite extraordinary. So there's nothing to say it has to be done in the first year. And this is Kenny's second year. He's had a year to blend in and develop and see the players and understand the culture of the club and what the pressures are. And now it looks as if we're going to get the benefits of that.
You've got 5 top quality strikers at Celtic. Do you feel you need that many throughout the course of the season?
Well, I think so. I think obviously the difficult thing for the manager is trying to keep them all happy. But I think nowadays in football it's very much a squad game. There's very few players in the team who will actually play all the games. You usually find that defenders will be the guys, will be the sort of regular guys, but the other guys that the pressure's on to create and score, it's more difficult, and there's managers always looking for a solution in games that some players don't play well and others can change, as has happened today. So they've all got to be patient and realise that it's a team thing as opposed to an individual thing,
The fact that you're talking to us is an indication of how upset Gordon is. Do you know what happened with the altercation late on in the game?
I think that one of the strange phenomenons that's grown up in this country in recent years is that I think supporters feel that they can shout and say anything they like to anybody within ear distance, whether there's children there or not. They feel that they can shout and say the most horrible personal things to people. And then when those people turn around and have a laugh or a joke with them or try to wind them up, then they want to go and get them reported and get them put in the jail and everything like that. So we had that last week at Falkirk, which was very disappointing, and now we've had it today again. So the message is that it's shaming them really, because anything that's there is banter from our people, because it's no vindictive or anything like that. But the abuse that we've had to take in the last few games has been shocking. And the fact that it comes to that is just coming through people want to interfere. It's a game, and the people in the game that are on the touchlines, they know you've got to take all those types of things, all the criticism and the personal slagging off and everything, and that's all part and parcel of it. But don't shout your mouth off and say this and say that, and if somebody turns around and has a laugh at you or gives you a wee wave, then you want to go and report them. So bad crack.
Thanks for your time, Tommy.
Pleasure.
Bad crack just about sums it up. He always talks a lot of sense, does Tommy Burns, and pretty much reflecting what we've been saying in the studio here as well about that Gordon Strachan blow-up. And not surprisingly, the name of Gordon Strachan will feature in referee Charlie Richmond's report to the SFA, and there will be repercussions, obviously, of what has happened here, and the Celtic manager will presumably have to explain himself. But you just wonder